Hello and welcome in. Today I wanted to talk about, if you're feeling exhausted, ways that you can, or steps and ways that you can move towards feeling alive, invigorated and full of energy again. And that's one of the things I wanted to talk about today. But one of the steps I wanted to talk about is, could the way you're feeling and the exhaustion you're feeling be due to your liver, be due to the liver not functioning correctly, to the liver feeling overwhelmed, to the liver feeling burdened? Because sometimes we overlook how important our liver is, and we take it for granted as far as how it's doing its job every day. So my question to you is, are you feeling unrefreshed? Are you feeling moody, irritable, not quite yourself, foggy thought, feeling tired in the afternoons around that 2-3 o'clock? So waking up tired, waking up with sore feet for a little while, or having to walk for a little while, and then feeling like your feet are coming back into feeling normal again. Waking up in the early hours of the morning. These can all be part of the signs that the body gives you that the liver's not functioning optimally. And I'm not talking about liver disease here. I get a lot of clients that come in and say to me, I just don't feel well. I feel all of those symptoms I just said, the tiredness, the fogginess, darkness under the eyes, feeling bloated, getting that tiredness in the afternoon and going for the chocolate to keep them going. And they go, but all my blood tests came back normal. There's nothing wrong. And then when we look in and we look at what's going on there, you can see that there is a liver burden or an overwhelm of the liver. So that's what I want to talk about today, is when the liver feels burdened, you can feel overwhelmed. You can feel under the pump. You can feel like you're having to push yourself through each and every day. Because guess what? The liver's our second largest elimination organ. Our largest is our skin, but the liver's the second largest, and it's probably the one that's the most active. It's the most active detoxification organ. And it's got estimated about 500 roles to do regularly in the body. And some of these roles can include blood sugar regulation, breakdown of your hormones. So when you produce your hormones, your estrogen and progesterones, your liver has to break them down once they've been utilized. The liver also removes bacterial and viral particles and any of the toxins that come about because of those infections. And currently, if you consider the current scenario of the world at this stage, we're all being exposed to, or a large portion of the population is being exposed to viral toxins or viruses, and the load that goes with that. So the liver then gets another challenge during that week of feeling a little bit sick or a little bit off. And I am getting a lot of clients at the moment coming in, not just with the current pandemic virus, but also other illnesses and ailments coming about due to the current situation. So whether it be HSV, like the herpes outbreaks, or whether it be some shingles, those kinds of viral flare-ups can come about as well. And the liver has to help break all of that down and remove some of those fragments and the toxins that go along with it. The liver also detoxifies the coffee that you're having in the morning, the alcohol that you're having at night, any of the energy drinks and the refined sugars that you're having during the day. But it also stores some of your vitamins and your minerals, things like vitamin A, vitamin D, zinc, copper, B12. Some of these essential nutrients are stored by the liver. So not only is it a metabolic organ, it's also a bit of a storage organ as well. And it can store our blood sugar, as it can store glucose from our blood sugar as well. And it breaks down those stress chemicals. So are you feeling overwhelmed at the moment? Are you feeling like the current situation is placing more of a load on you? Are you finding that in general you're feeling a little bit stressed and overwhelmed? Well, the liver has to break down that cortisol and that adrenaline as well. And the liver also has to break down any of the chemicals that are produced by the brain, or for the brain. So the neurotransmitters, the serotonins, the dopamines, those neurotransmitters and the stress hormones all need to be broken down by the liver. And it controls your cholesterol levels, and it controls the digestion, or it helps in the digestion of fats in the body. So the meal that you've just had, If it has any fats in there, whether they be good or whether they be not so desirable, the liver has to try to help to break that down as well through some of the bile acids that it produces. So can you see how the liver can get overwhelmed? I'm just feeling a bit overwhelmed just talking about some of the tasks that it does. So think about in your day, if you had to do, say, 500 rolls, or even, let's even make it a little bit less, because most humans would never get through 500 rolls in a day, dedicated rolls, but let's even say 100. And probably most women probably do that when we break down what we do, but let's say 100 rolls in a day, 100 different tasks. Would you feel a bit overwhelmed? Would you feel a bit burnt out? Would you maybe not be able to do each of those tasks as optimally as maybe you could do? So think about the liver as that kind of process. It's got these chemical reactions that it needs to do every day to help with the process of keeping the body healthy and keeping you energized and vital and full of life. And so if the liver's starting to feel overwhelmed and burdened by those tasks that it has to do, can you see how that you might feel a little bit tired and run down and not functioning optimally as well? And how liver burden could create tiredness and exhaustion, or contribute to tiredness and exhaustion? Because let's think about it. If your liver's not breaking down those stress chemicals properly, you might be feeling wired, but yet you're feeling tired as well. Or if your liver's not helping in the digestion process correctly, you might feel tired, say 3 o'clock in the afternoon. Or you might feel bloated for an hour or so after you eat. Feel bloated, sluggish, heavy, not functioning properly. Or if the toxins aren't being taken out of your body and they're floating around in the bloodstream, you might feel a bit foggy thought, or trouble concentrating, poor memory, can't quite remember that word that was in the middle of that sentence. Or if your liver's not breaking down the hormones correctly, the estrogen and progesterone, you might feel tired before your period, tired during your period. You might have the PMT symptoms of the irritability, the mood swings, easy to cry, sore breasts, cramps. These kinds of PMS symptoms can be related back to the imbalance of the hormones, because the liver's not breaking these hormones down correctly, and we get an imbalance between all of the hormones there. So if the liver's not working properly, you probably feel good and you're still cycling through your menstrual cycle, you probably feel good for about 2 weeks out of the month. And you probably have maybe 2 weeks of the month where you start to experience some of these symptoms and not feel as good as you do the rest of the time. And I get women that coming in all the time saying, I'm great for 1 week out of the month. I feel absolutely on top of the world for 1 week. Then slowly after that, I start to decline. I start to feel these symptoms. And for me, that is one way of look, or one red flag to say, hey, let's look at what's happening with the hormone balance in the liver. But could you be waking up during the night? Are you experiencing where you wake up between, say, 1 and 3 o'clock in the morning, or don't even sleep well in that midnight to early hours of the morning, and then fall asleep into a deep sleep, usually just before you need to wake up again? So you wake up feeling unrefreshed, feeling like you haven't slept, feeling like the night was a long night. That could also be part of what's going on in the big picture of the liver feeling burdened. And it is really important to look beyond just a blood test from your GP. I get clients that come in, and I just had a client yesterday came in, and she brought her blood tests in that she had received from her GP because she was wondering why she was so exhausted. And she said to me, look, this exhaustion is more than baby fatigue. And she had a baby over a year ago. And she said, but this exhaustion is a lot more than the baby fatigue and the sleep deprivation in the first few months of having a newborn baby. She said, now I've got a toddler, now I've got a young baby, and we're in the groove, sleeping well, but I'm exhausted and I just don't know why. And all my blood tests are coming back fine. They've said that there's nothing wrong. And when we looked into what was going on with her and her history, there was a few scenarios or a few experiences, one being stress for her, another one being a bit of a toxin load from a pharmaceutical medication, and what we found with her was it was more about that her liver was feeling burdened. It was still probably feeling burdened from the pregnancy and the breastfeeding scenario, but then we had extra layers on it with the stress, with the current pandemic, with traveling, with the exposure to a couple of medications that she was on. So the liver was just feeling a bit overwhelmed. And so it's about looking beyond just some blood test results, because blood test results are looking for disease. And like I said at the beginning, I get a lot of clients that come in and say, hey, I've got fatty liver, but what does it mean? And fatty liver is just one label for a liver that is going into a diseased process or a disease situation. But even before we get to fatty liver, before we get to the levels being out of balance for disease to occur, we want the liver to be working optimally so that you can feel like you've got lots of energy, that you can feel like you can get through each and every day without having to push yourself, without wondering what's going on with my brain. I can't remember words in the middle of a sentence, or I've got foggy thought. It takes a lot for me to get through my day. And so we want optimal liver functioning, not just disease prevention, but we want to reduce the burden on the liver on a daily basis. Like I said, if you had lots of tasks to do every day and it was unrelenting, you would feel burdened as well. Is that right? So looking at supporting and detoxifying the liver on a regular basis is imperative to helping the road to recovery and finding that zest for life again. So what we want to do is we want to eradicate the fatigue by supporting the liver on a daily basis. There are some easy things that you can do in your everyday process. Apple cider vinegar or lemon juice first in small amount of water first thing in the morning. I always say it's a bit like a rooster's wake-up call for liver and digestion. That acidic taste, or the sour taste on the tongue, really helps with the body in getting things moving. So that's a great way to start the day, ensuring that you're getting about 2 litres of filtered water a day. So minimum at the moment, with the heat that's around here in southeast Queensland. It's quite hot, quite humid. It's probably all of Queensland. But I'm finding a lot of people are probably dehydrating a little bit more at the moment than they would normally because of the heat. So ensuring that if you are exercising, if you're working in a hot environment, ensuring that you're getting at least the 2 litres of water a day, but assessing your requirements and if you need to increase that, because the liver needs the fluid, the water, to help with some of the detoxification and elimination processes to help the kidneys as well. And then we've got nutrients and herbs that can support the liver. So we've got nutrients like methionine, cysteine, glutathione, vitamin B12, folic acid or folate. We've got nutrient or herbs like schisandra, dandelion leaf, St. Mary's thistle, just to name a few, and that's by no means an extensive list. But there are a lot of liver formulations that we can use for support. We don't need to go onto these liver formulations to do a massive detox. It's more about a support process. We want to give the liver some key nutrients to help with those chemical reactions. So let me ask you this. If you were, say, cleaning your house and you didn't have a general cleaner, like an all-purpose spray cleaner, would you be able to effectively clean those benches? Or if you didn't have the floor soap to help mop the floor, or you didn't have a vacuum cleaner, could you imagine how much harder it would be for you to clean the house? So think of it in the same terms as the liver. It needs certain nutrients and certain ingredients to help with some of these chemical reactions. And so when we help to supply those through our diet, or even sometimes through some supplementation, we can support those cleaning processes or detoxification reactions in the liver to help to get rid of some of these toxins and help the liver do its job easier and reduce the burden on the liver. So there are, like I said, lots of formulas around. It is about getting one that's got a lot of nutrients in there that can help to support these detoxification channels. And looking at increasing fiber in your meals. So increasing fiber through what you're eating, through your salad, fruits and the veggies, is all about increasing the trucks that can help when the liver detoxes and puts all of its detoxification, say the toxins, into the gut to be eliminated. We want the fiber there to grab onto them to help take them out. So those toxins don't get reabsorbed again and the liver goes, I've got to deal with this again. So making sure that you're getting adequate salad, fruits and veggies to help with your fiber content, to help eliminate the toxins as well. And then also decreasing any of the things that can create burden on our liver. So alcohol, coffee, refined sugar, assessing medications. Is there a need for these medications? And having a look at speaking with your medical practitioner about the medications you're on and how it impacts on your liver and how you can support that process if they're needed. But to also fine tune so that you're not overusing some of these medications. And it doesn't have to just be pharmaceutical medications. I do find that there's some clients that come in and they're taking other medications that they don't particularly need, but particularly the big ones are the coffee, the alcohol, and the refined sugars, decreasing those to decrease the burden as well. And by doing these kinds of steps, you can support your liver as part of your everyday routine and making it a daily thing that you're doing to help support the liver, rather than thinking about it, once a year I'm going to do a liver detox and it's going to be for a few days or a week and then I'll get back to my normal life again. It's about just creating these small little steps or habits that can help to support the liver on a daily basis, okay? And if you're wanting to know more about how your liver might be impacted or might be affected and burdened, please send me a comment below. I'd love to be able to send you our liver screening questionnaire so that you can have a look at maybe the level of how the liver, or the level of burden of the liver. So if you're wanting that PDF, please comment below and I'd love to send you that questionnaire so that you can have a look at your liver burden. And if you're wanting some more help with fatigue and exhaustion and burnout, I am offering a free webinar on the 31st of January at 7 p.m. Just a few little strategies to help reverse and restore fatigue and restore your energy again. So that is the 31st of January at 7 p.m. It is a free webinar, but you do need to register for that. It is interactive on the night and I'm so looking forward to doing that. I'll put the link in below as well. And I hope you can look at your liver burden and help to reduce the burden on your life so that you can restore your energy and live life to the fullest again. Thanks for joining me today. Bye-bye for now.